Now we shift our schedule over and our attention to Florida A&M as Coach Quinn Gray will be joining us. And Coach Quinn Gray will be preparing to take on Albany State in their opening game. Coach, can you lead us off with an opening statement for that?
Morning, everybody. Really just looking forward to going up against somebody different. We've been in camp 4 weeks now, and our guys are really excited about being able to prepare for a game. I think for us, with the schedule changing into, getting into game prep and all that good stuff, the monotony of summer camp has was something that our guys were excited to get out of. So we're excited to be able to get in preparation, game week preparation, and get our minds focused on a different opponent and being able to hit somebody in a different jersey. So we're excited for that. And then we're looking forward to going out on Saturday and hopefully putting on a good product.
We'll start with our first question from Perry White.
Hey, good morning, Coach. How you doing?
Doing well.
You're through and through, fam. You talk about instilling that culture, and there was a lot of things that you wanted to bring back from the yesteryears, but just coming back and instilling the culture, and what does that culture look like at FAMU these days under your leadership?
Just understanding the foundation that was built before a lot of us got here, understanding the history of this university, and then also understanding the history of this program. Because there's just a lot of things that these young people don't necessarily pay attention to or know, and that's not necessarily their fault. So it's really up to us as the grown-ups to make sure that they understand the foundation that's been laid before they got here, and understanding the people that have laid that foundation for them to be able to wear the orange and green on each and every Saturday. So for us, it's really built around being all in, and it's posted everywhere you go around here. That's how we speak. That's the language we talk about, because we understand that it's always standards over feelings, and as long as you're living up to the standard, your feelings won't matter. So these guys understand the route that we're taking as it relates to this program moving forward. And I think they've did a good job of honing in on what it is that's expected of them from a standard standpoint. And I think we're starting to see the change that we're looking for as a coaching staff.
Thank you, Coach.
Our next question comes from James Hill.
Coach, I hope you and everyone on the highest of seven hills are well this morning. Talk a little bit about the Quinn Gray era kicks off on Saturday. You'll see Albany, you'll see FAM, two programs from the inside out, and it's a beautiful thing. Talk a little bit about Saturday night, what we can expect.
Obviously, the pageantry and all that good stuff of HBCU football is what it is. But for us, as a staff, myself, it's more about the game. There's a lot of things being put on this game simply because of where I come from and where I've been. But at the end of the day, it's game one for us, and it's week 0, and we're getting prepared to go play an opponent, regardless of who it is. Obviously, with it being the first home game, and then also the first game with me being back, there's a lot of emphasis being put on that. On top of playing the team that I led last year as the head coach, so. With that, we as a coaching staff understand what that looks like, and we're more so concerned with making sure that our guys are prepared to go out and play the best football that they can possibly play on Saturday versus the pageantry and the excitement around what people are putting the emphasis on, and that's me and the Albany State past and all that good stuff. So we're looking forward to going in and playing a good football game and coming out of that thing with a victory.
Coach, your quarterback room. Talk a little bit about your quarterback, dynamic player, and just talk a little bit about what that looks like.
Isaiah, everybody knows who he is. Isaiah has been doing it for the last 3 years at Albany State with me. So the expectation for him, he has high expectations for himself, obviously, and nobody will ever put more expectations on him than he'll put on himself. So we're excited to see what it looks like on a Division I level, and he's been preparing just as everybody else on this team has been preparing to go into this game and to go into this season. So we're excited to see what he'll do on Saturday.
Welcome home.
Thank you.
Next question comes from Wayne Cartwright.
Hey, Coach Gray, how are you today, sir? Good to talk to you.
Doing well.
So, can you talk a little bit about, obviously you said a lot about, playing the team that you just coached. You got a quarterback who's going up against the team that he just played for. How much, if any, have you talked about managing the emotions of the moment ahead of this game on Saturday?
It's not any different from any game. To be honest with you, obviously, him being able to go up against some of his former teammates, there's the trash talking going back and forth, but just got to understand when you do the trash talking, you got to be able to back it up on Saturday, because there's a lot of that going on as it relates to coming from the other side. So, with that, that's a part of it, especially when it comes down to playing former teammates and all that good stuff. So I'm sure he's looking forward to going up against those guys and going out there and being able to shut them up as it relates to the talk that's been going on. So I'm excited to see him go out there and put his best foot forward, and we'll see how Saturday turns out.
Well, best of luck to you guys heading up on Saturday. We'll talk to you next week.
Appreciate it.
Next question in the queue will be from Ty Miller.
Hey, Coach Gray, good morning to you.
Morning.
One of your mentors was Billy Joe, and when you took the job at Florida A&M, did you have a chance to speak with him? And if so, what was that conversation about upon taking the job?
Coach Billy and Joe and I have had a relationship since I was 18 years old. So having conversations with him was nothing new as it relates to being here and back on the hill. So conversations between Coach Billy Joe and I have been taking place for over the last 28, 29, 30, almost 30 years at this point. So he and I have a great relationship. He was able to do things or give me things in ways that I could have never imagined. For me, I try to tell my assistant coaches that taking, as a coach, you want to take players where they can't take themselves. And he was one of the ones that was able to do that for me. And the conversation that he and I had was nothing different from any conversation that we would have. Preparation for the season, making sure that you're doing things the right way, running some ideas that I might have by him. And then just also, he always wants to talk about the good old days in the Gulf Coast offense. So we had our conversations about that and what that looks like moving forward. But, for the most part, our conversations have been normal conversations, nothing in terms of anything new that would be alarming as it relates to our conversation because of the job. But, just normal conversations, and him and I continuing to keep our relationship going as it has over the last several years.
And just to give you a brief follow-up, going back to the game against Youngstown State back in the 90s, what would it take to get FAMU back to that level of playoff contenders that Billy Joe took you all to back in those days?
I don't know if we can get back to that level because we're not able to go to the playoffs if we're winning like we're supposed to, because it's always going to be the Celebration Bowl as of right now. So back then, it took what it took back then, and we'll have to find out what it takes to get back to that level. But sound football, smart, fast, physical football is what it's going to take to win any game, right? And to be able to get to a championship level, you have to have guys that have a championship mindset. And that's what we're trying to build and instill into these young men as it relates to moving forward. Just because, we did it once or whatever the case may be, that doesn't guarantee success moving forward. So we have to make sure that, as coaches, we're putting these guys in the best situation possible for them to be successful. And then they have to be willing to accept what it is that it's going to take to be champions, because we got what we call a championship checklist. And if they're able to check off the 8 things that's on that list, then there's no greater reward out of that list than winning, right? So for that, whatever we have to do to try and get back to that level, whatever that level is, we're willing to do that, and we'll find out what those things are moving forward.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question for Coach Gray, and that will come from James Hill.
Coach, can you talk a little bit about the Rattlers defense, the secondary, the linebackers, the line, just so far what you see in camp as guys get ready for Saturday?
We're going to be a defense that flies around. We got some guys that can really twitchy as it relates to our defense. And I'm excited to see those guys move, especially up front, because we got some experience coming back as it relates to our defensive front. So I'm excited to see, what those guys will do on Saturday. They've been giving us fits in practice during camp, so I'm excited to see them go up against a different color. So for that, our linebackers have done a tremendous job this camp of doing what Coach Lewis has asked them to do. And then from a secondary standpoint, we got some experience there. We got some new guys there, more so than anywhere else. But at the end of the day, we're excited to see what those guys can do when it comes down to putting it on the field on Saturday.
Thank you, Coach.
And thank you, Coach Gray, for joining us this morning ahead of the opening weekend. Good luck to you.
Thank you.
Thank you.